Welcome everybody to another episode of the Nerd Continuity, where we talk about design, development, and all other crazy sorts of stuff that we find online. Today, a slightly different episode because we're not going to talk about neither web design or development or other weird stuff. We're going to talk about something more technical, something more specific that you guys asked. And the question that you always ask me on every social media that I'm in is how I managed to move from Italy to Canada, but in particular how I managed to stay and work and find a work. So because this is a lot of these information are a lot technical and there's a lot of bureaucratic stuff, I decided to invite Sabrina, my lovely girlfriend here. Hello, Sabrina.
Hi guys.
How you doing today?
It's all good, thanks.
Okay, so
night.
Oh yes, pretty
intense.
Pretty
day.
sleepy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I decided to invite you, Sabrina, because you are the gatekeeper. You are the only one that knows everything and remembers everything. And I have to admit, during the whole process of documentation and stuff, I was pretty bored pretty easily because I don't like this stuff, and she's the best.
It's just that it's a long process and it's really bureaucratic, of course, so it can get pretty boring.
So a little bit of background. We moved here was September 2013, right?
Yes, was
right?
September 4th, 2013.
Oh, you remember also
I remember
the day.
Exactly the day, yeah.
Holy cow, that's
it was
skills.
an important date, come
Oh
on.
yes, the day that changed our life.
Yeah,
we moved here so almost 3 years ago. It's 2 years or
Almost.
something, and we started planning this more than 2 years before. I just remember the day in January when I called you and I told you I'm so pissed, I'm so over it, let's move out, I hate this country, let's do something. And I sent you the link for the working holiday visa.
Yeah.
So what's this working holiday visa?
The working holiday visa is a 6-month open work permit that is basically the only thing that you can use to move to Canada from another country, because it allows you to work for whoever you want for 6 months. 6 months from Italy, because from other countries is usually 1 year long. And it's pretty convenient because to work in Canada you need a work permit. You can't just come here and find a work or
you can just hop on a plane, arrive in Canada and say I want to work.
Yes, it's totally illegal.
Yes.
I get a lot of questions from Italians or other Europeans that ask me if they can just come here as tourists and find a job, and I'm always like, don't do that, it's totally illegal, you can't do that.
It's so dangerous.
Yes, so working holiday visa is an open work permit, so it's really cool, and it's it's the first step to move to Canada for a lot of people.
So what does it mean, open work permit? There are different types of work permit.
Usually the work permit is bounded to an employer. So an employer has to sponsor you and to send documents to the Canadian government to say basically that he wants you to work for him, and so the government then has to send a reply back and say, yes, this guy can work for you, and he's gonna send you a work permit to stay in Canada. And usually the work permit is 2 years long.
Mm-hmm.
So open work permit means that you can work for whoever you want. They don't have to sponsor you because you already have the work permit. So you can see that it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient. And as you previously said, we had the disadvantage that from Italy is just 6 months, and it's just insane. It was 6 months. Sounds like a really long time, but it's actually not.
No, he went I don't know how do you say. He went like a blink.
Yeah,
really.
It was just insane, and it's not enough to find a permanent solution. It's not enough to find a permanent home is not enough to improve a lot of your English. Like our English improved a lot in the past year, maybe. So after almost 2 years we were here. And just as a quick background, we didn't speak very well English. Like our English was awful.
No,
And-
I mean, it sounds bad. It sounds really bad, said like that, because our English was good, but was good for an Italian level.
yeah.
I mean,
For a foreigner that doesn't really know how to speak.
yes, like we knew English, but from school, so it wasn't good at like conversation level. So
Yeah. From this point of view, I'm feeling that Canadians know that everyone is from another part of the world. Like they accept everyone. It's a really open country. They accept whatever type of nationality, of ethnicity, religion, whatever.
oh,
So
definitely.
they are totally open to understand you and trying to help you if you don't speak really well English. So you have to know English, you have to know how to communicate, but you don't need an excellent level of English to work or live here. Everyone is willing to help you. Even your employer is super willing to help you if you do a good job. So a lot of questions that I get are that do I need to speak English super well? Do I need to be like super fluent in English, or it's fine like an average high school level of English? It's fine to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like you don't need to be super fluent in English or like a teacher level English.
I mean, if your English is better,
Oh, yeah.
it's better for you, of
Yeah,
course.
definitely, absolutely.
But
yeah.
they don't expect that you talk like an English speaker. Like they know that it's not your first language. Like English here is for, I don't know, 70% of the people, the second language.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on with our process, after applying for this working holiday visa, actually before applying for the working holiday visa, we thought about this for almost a year and we prepared ourselves for more
Yeah.
than a year by, what did we do? We stopped doing everything.
The first time you showed me the working holiday visa website, I was pretty skeptical because I wasn't sure about that, and it's a really big decision. I mean, moving basically to the other side of the world, because the West Coast it's really far from Italy.
Yeah.
So we thought about that for a while, and then we decided it was okay, now or never. And so from that, it passed another entire year, because it was September 2012, and we decided, okay, we're going in a year. And so we started saving money. I think that is the first big step you have to take.
Yeah.
Save money like as much as you can, like put everything aside.
Yeah, and also because there's a limit, like a minimum amount required from the working holiday visa.
Yeah, it's not so much. I mean, I don't know if now it changed because it's been some time.
Yeah.
But when we applied for the working holiday visa, they wanted that we had at least $2,500 each.
Yeah.
To show them that we could have support.
Yeah, we could support ourselves. We could sustain in the possibility that we didn't get any type of job.
Yeah, I mean, and it's even not so much if you think $2,500 for 6 months. Like it's, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be enough if you don't find any jobs. So, but it's the minimum required to enter Canada.
So we stopped basically going out, hanging out with friends, traveling, going on vacations. It was just working.
Yeah, we just worked.
Yeah, I did a lot of freelancing in that period. It was terrible, but in the meantime, I was really hopeful for our like change of this lifestyle, this new lifestyle that was coming in the future. So I decided to do a bunch of things from a web developer point of view. I updated my website. I rebuilt completely my website. I started publishing blog posts or articles about web development in English. Instead, before I used to do it in Italian. And I started following tutorials in English and watching TV shows in English without subtitles, just to, I don't know, just to improve my English, just to improve my listening, because listening is the most important thing. You can express yourself with few words, but if you don't understand what they're saying, it's just terrible. So yeah, I focus myself on rebuilding basically my online image. So I updated all my social medias, I created my YouTube channels and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a more personal point of view, but we did all the documents for this working holiday visa, and there were a lot of documents, right?
Not so many.
There were a lot of documents.
Compared to what we had to do for the other work permits and the permanent residency, I think the first documents for the working holiday visa were like super easy. But yeah, and I remember when we got the email about the working holiday visa, that we finally got it, and I was at work and I was so happy. And yeah, that was another big day for us, because finally we knew that we
were free.
Finally we got the visa and we could go. So after you get the visa, you have, if I remember right, 1 year to use it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to use it immediately, but after 1 year it expires.
But better use it, because it's just once in a lifetime.
Yeah, you can't apply again. So if you get the working holiday visa, go, because that's it. It's the only chance you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So lots of documents, lots of savings, no personal life anymore. It was just like pretty boring that year, but we applied the working holiday visa, and everyone else in our country applied as well. We got lucky, they accepted our application, so we were ready to go. And we got the confirmation on January or February 2013, I think.
I think it was late February.
Late February. We took the tickets for our flight on March.
It was March 2013, yeah.
And we decided to come in September. Why we decided to come in September?
Why?
That's a good question.
Because it was exactly 1 year after we decided. Did we have another?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We did a bunch of research, don't you remember? We did a bunch of research about kind of the best time to move into another country. So
I see, yeah.
And we did it from the developer point of view. So I researched a lot, and I found out that most of the time companies start hiring or in January at the beginning of the new year, or in September, just right after summer.
Yes.
September, October are the months where companies start hiring a lot, and January as well. So we had these two choices, or September or January. We were pretty scared about the weather. We were pretty scared about the winter. We knew, like, in Italy we barely have some snow, especially in Rome. Like, we don't go below zero, and it's just like, it's really mild. It's like Mediterranean temperature. So we were super afraid about the weather.
Yeah, but for that we chose Vancouver.
Yeah, we chose Vancouver.
Because our first choice was Toronto.
Yeah.
Just because it was like the biggest city in Canada, and it's really close to a lot of other cool cities. But then we saw the temperature in the winter. There is like negative 40 degrees, and it's
so good.
Unbearable. So we were like, no, we can't survive. And so we ended up in Vancouver because it's basically the only city in Canada with a mild winter.
Yeah. And we picked September because, other than the higher hiring perspective from companies, was also because it was still summerish and it was going to be winter, but kind of slowly. We wouldn't travel from like summer temperature to like super cold winter and snow in just one day. So we decided to pick September, and it was a good choice because I found a lot of job offers and small.
Yeah, but that's another story, though.
That's another
what
story.
What do you want to say?
That's another story, absolutely. But just a small advice. From Italy, or I think from Europe is the same. When you're looking for a job, you start doing it like 3 months, 6 months in advance. Like you send a job application or a job a request for an interview or whatever, and you wait 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or they answer to you like after a year, or sometimes they don't answer at all. Here in Canada, it's completely different. If you send a job application, they answer you or the same day or in a week, or they tell you something before. So
Less than a week.
less than a week, yes. So
Yeah.
I started sending job applications in August, so 1 month before taking the flight, and I had answers the next day. Okay, can you come tomorrow? And I was like, I'm kind of on the other side of the world. So I started searching seriously for a job 3 days before taking the flight. And that was a pretty ballsy move because we didn't have the certainty of finding a job. So it was just...
Yes, but here in Canada it's all pretty fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, a piece of advice to search for jobs and accommodations. Look for that when you're here in Canada already and you're ready to go immediately, because yeah, they can call you for the same day or for the day after to go for an interview or to go to see an apartment, and you have to be immediately available.
Mm-hmm.
So for sure, don't start too much in advance, because it's totally useless, because you're going to waste like a lot of opportunities just because you're not ready or you're not there, like physically. So another piece of the story is that we chose Canada, and in particular Vancouver, not just for the weather. Okay, so yeah, the weather is good, but because of Alex's job.
Yeah.
So actually I made some research before, and we decided to move for his job because as a web developer and designer, he was going to have a lot of opportunities here in Canada, and particularly in Vancouver. There is like a tech city with a lot of tech companies. And so I was so keen to come here because I was like, okay, Alex, you're going to find a job like immediately. And so I was taking care of all the documents because I was kind of pushing him to go. But yeah, and then we succeeded because you found a job when?
4 days after landing here.
Like immediately.
Yeah, 4 days. After 4 days. Yeah, I had my first job interview the morning after. Like we landed, it was 5 p.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah, it was late.
We went to the hotel, we went to sleep, and at 7 a.m. in the morning, I was already out for my first job interview.
Yeah.
That was pretty shocking. I didn't understand pretty much 90% of the conversation that I had. That's why I didn't get that job, but it was fine. But it wasn't my fault. I applied for a position and they asked me if I was willing to do something else, like AngularJS. I didn't know AngularJS 2 years ago. And they asked me, oh, you apply for front-end development. Do you want to do JavaScript and AngularJS? I was like, I don't know that. Okay, we don't need you. Good stuff. But anyway, that was...
Yeah, but it was a good experience.
It was a great experience.
I really think you were really great, because it was your first interview in English in Canada after being like traveling all day.
Super jet lagged.
Yeah, so like it was a great experience.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud.
Oh, thank you. Oh, so sweet. So good. I made a good decision to bring her here, right? Anyway, so the first day after the super high failure of this job interview, we did a lot of stuff, because when you arrive here, you have to do a lot of stuff.
You have to build your own life once again, completely.
Just from the simple things of like having a cell phone. Like we had to activate our new Canadian cell number. Then you have to activate your SIN number.
That is the first thing.
Yeah, what's this SIN?
The SIN number is the social insurance number, and it's the number that you need to work, because it's the number that they require when you sign like an employment agreement, and it's the number that you use for your tax return. So it's a very important number, and you don't have to bring that around with you, like never. So just use it when you need it, and then keep it safe somewhere.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. If you lose it and someone steals it, they can steal your identity.
Yeah,
that's
like
pretty dangerous.
Big deal.
Yeah, and we didn't know that. We don't have this kind of stuff in Italy. We have our identity card, like our ID, but your ability to find a job or to get hired is not related to a number, to your social insurance number.
I don't think that.
Here, if you don't have that, you basically don't exist. So you...
Yeah, actually another thing about the SIN number is that when you come here with a work permit that it's limited to a certain time, so it's going to expire, your social insurance number starts with a 9. So that's another thing, because sometimes they can ask you during like interviews or when you apply online for jobs to insert the first number of your SIN, and that it's because they want to see if you have a 9. So it means that you're like a temporary worker in Canada. And when we got the permanent residency, our SIN number changed to from 9 to 7. So 7 is the permanent SIN, so it's not gonna change. So it's great.
It's pretty good
achievement.
Yeah. So the first days were super hectic. I don't know. We did a lot of stuff. We opened a bank account. They want a bank account. Don't even think to come here and don't open a bank account and keep all your money like cash in your wallet or underneath your pillow. You have to open a bank account. Absolutely. They want you to open a debit card. You cannot have a credit card because your work permit has to be longer than 1 year in order to have a credit card. So for now you have just a debit card. And then we created our cell phone numbers. We started searching for an apartment. That was super terrible because we had that hotel we booked an hotel just for 6 days, 7 days.
We arrived in Canada without a job, because we were looking for that, and with and staying in a hotel for 5 days. So we booked the hotel for 5 days because we were really we
wanted to save money, and we were pretty confident.
We were confident to find the house, an apartment or whatever in a very short time, because we did some research before and we knew that here is all pretty fast.
Yeah.
So we were like, it's useless that we search for an apartment before. We have to search for it when we are in Canada.
Yeah.
So,
but we did it. We managed to find an apartment. I managed to get hired and all this kind of stuff. So
all in a very short time.
Yeah, whole in the first week.
4 days.
It was insane.
4 days,
Yes, it was pretty insane. And after that, our life started pretty much slowly.
We
started taking public transit. We started exploring a little bit, not too much, because always remember we were allowed to stay only for 6 months. So my main goal in order to stay was to ask for a sponsorization from my employer.
Yeah, a lot of people come here with like a working holiday visa and they go exploring. They basically are tourists for the first 2-3 months. And I can maybe understand that if you come with a 1 year working holiday visa, but coming from Italy, we had that big disadvantage to have just 6 months. That's so short time. So the first 4-5 months, we were so focused on just getting the sponsorization and getting the documents done and sending everything, because we had the plan, like we wanted to stay in Canada. So because we had this plan, we were just focusing on it.
Yeah.
And at the end, we succeeded. So it was good.
Yay.
But yeah, like, don't waste time. So
Oh,
if you have
definitely.
already a plan that you wanna, something that you wanna achieve, just point to that. Don't waste time, because if you succeed and you're going to stay in Canada, then you're going to have time to explore and be like a tourist.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
But before
first
you
time,
have to
even a year, guys, even if you have 1 year work permit,
it's really fast.
Yeah, it goes really fast. It's like not enough to learn English, build a new life, find friends, find a job, find a permanent solution, applying for documentations and all this kind of stuff. It's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, of course, our point of view is from people that don't speak English as a first language. So of course, if you come from a country like England or Australia, you are advantaged a bit, because anyway English is your first language, so maybe you're gonna have less problems, of course. But like for Europeans that speaking another language, I mean the first months are really hard. Because it's a totally different word, and even if you know English, having to use that every day, every single moment, it's really hard on your brain. Like it gets tiring. Like we were so tired at the end of the day just because we were all day talking and thinking in English. So it's very tiring.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on, 3 months passed, and I pretty ruthlessly asked to my boss, to my former employer, can you do the sponsorization for me? Can I apply for the permanent residency? Because I was tired to wait, and just already 3 months were passed, so half of our time was gone forever. So I was pretty scared.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of different options. So at that time, we could apply for different stuff. But now we're going to talk about these things. But just remember that Canada changes his laws and changes his way of doing or dealing with immigrations pretty much once a year. So all this stuff that we're telling you right now probably are not active anymore. Like
the work, like the program, the general work permit is always valid. The problem is that they changed the requirement to apply, and Canada is getting tougher from that point of view, kind of like the US. And so they really want skilled workers. So, and the program we applied to now is open again, but closed for like some months after we applied. So actually we got lucky and we got accepted just before it closed down, because it got too many applications. So that's also this problem. They have like a lot of people that want to apply to stay in Canada, and so it's getting tougher and tougher to get into these programs. So the different option. Before leaving Italy, I found online this program called PNP, the Provincial Nominee Program for the BC, that is the British Columbia, the province in Vancouver is in. And I decided we have to apply for this because was a program that allows you, it's open now, allows you to get into the permanent residency a little bit faster. And Alex, with this kind of job, could apply for that. So I was like, okay, if you get the sponsor, you have to apply directly for the PMP. Just because we want to stay in Canada. So was, I think, the easiest and
the quickest.
Was like the most intelligent way to stay in Canada, because it was the quickest way.
Most intelligence.
The clever one. I don't know. Like it was the only way.
I like how humble you are. Like, We were pretty fucking smart. Yes, I know.
Was a smart move.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
From my point
absolutely.
of view,
Yeah, we
was a
didn't
smart
waste
move.
time.
So, like, if you want to move to a country, you have to search for all the programs because maybe you missed something and there was a program that was like the quickest way and you didn't know about it because it wasn't very popular at that time. But yeah, after we applied, it got so popular that got closed. So yeah, so that's good. Another story. Yeah. But so that was the first program that we wanted to apply to. If you don't want to stay in Canada forever, I mean, maybe you want to stay here just for some time, you can apply simply for a work permit that is gonna last for 2 years. The process is basically the same because you always have to get an employer that has to sponsor you, and then the government has to send an answer back, yes or no. Yeah. You hope for yes. Yeah. But the steps are the same. So if you want, you get a work permit for 2 years. And so you have time to decide if you want to stay in Canada after that. Yeah. But yeah, we applied directly for this program because it was the program because it was a provincial program for skilled workers. Yeah. So it was totally perfect for Alex.
Yeah, we checked we checked the ranking. And of course, in the top position was like IT and software engineering and all this kind of stuff. So Canada was looking for the role I was meant to work to, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, every job in Canada is in this kind of like
ranking system.
Yeah, it's like a ranking system that basically has the jobs ranked in like A, B, C, D, and it depends, of course, about the qualifications required for the job. So if it's required like a degree or like a lot of years of experience, and the job of web developer and designer is like all together in the same category, was ranked like really high. And also was a really wanted job, is right? Like there were like a lot of job offers for this kind of position.
Anyway, for all this stuff, also like applying for this PNP, I asked to my employer. He said, yes, of course, I'm gonna give you all the information, all the documentation you need. The problem is not that easy. It's not that, okay, you have an employer that is willing to sponsor you and you have a permanent job position and all this kind of stuff. It's not that easy because every time you apply for something, the government has to evaluate you. So they have the power to do, they can totally reject
they can
your application. Even if your application is totally legit, even if you have everything and it's perfect, and you're inside the ranking, they can totally say no for whatever reason they want. And that was pretty scary, especially because when you send an application, you wait a long time for just an answer.
So long.
So we sent the application in January 2014.
Yeah, because we were a bit slow in sending the applications.
Yeah, we needed a lot of
documents from the employer. At the end was like January 2014, or like was February actually. When we finally got all the documents was February, and we actually went to the PMP office that is inside the library in Vancouver. We went there just to be sure that they got all the documents immediately.
Physically, we didn't send it via mail. We physically brought the envelope.
We left all the document. That was February, and then we just had to wait. And our working holiday visa expired in March.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was a bad moment.
We arrived at that point that we had to decide. Our work permit was expired, so we weren't allowed to work anymore. But my employer was willing to wait for me, so he said, okay, when you get the new work permit, you can start working again. So what to do? The waiting time when we sent the application, the estimated waiting time was 2 months.
Yeah, it was just 1 month.
So we said, okay, let's do a ballsy move. Let's stay here. Let's not go away, because we had also the possibility to go back to Italy, wait for an answer, and then come back with a new work permit.
But that was a waste of time and money.
Exactly. So we said, okay, let's stay here. Let's apply for a visitor visa. That is the tourist visa for 3 months. Let's apply for that. Let's stay in Canada. Let's do nothing. Like, let's not go out. Let's not travel. Let's stay in the house, save as much money as possible. We were starting all over again, like not doing anything, saving money,
and just waiting.
And that
so
was
bad.
So frustrating. It was so terrible. We were so scared.
And we waited for how long?
Actually 3 months. Because after 1 month of wait, they updated the waiting times on the website, and they said that because of the amount of application, they were delaying the processing time to up to 3 months.
Yeah, no, then it became like 6 months. I got really scared when I saw that.
Yeah, we were freaking out because we didn't have money anymore. We were like just wasting all our money just to pay the rent and pay bills and eat and just survive. Like,
I mean, Vancouver is not cheap.
It's not cheap,
so
absolutely.
So it's not an easy city to live in if you don't have an income.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we were pretty scared, and we were really close to be forced to go back to Italy and just wait there.
It's just because when you send these documents to the government, you don't know if the answer is gonna be positive, like you hoped so, but you don't know. And yeah, you can't do anything at all. You can't even call or contact someone and ask, what about my application? So you don't know, you have just to wait, completely blind. And like just that. So we had to wait, and we waited for 3 months without knowing like anything at all. And then finally we got the answer.
Oh my God, that was the best day ever. We got the answer a month before our visitor visa was expiring.
Yeah, it was around May.
Yeah, and we did everything as fast as possible. The good thing that turned out, we made we chose wisely. We decided to stay because they contacted us and they asked us more documents or a clarification on other documents.
Oh, you're right.
So we were able to do that super quickly, like in just 1 day, because we were there. We were still in Canada.
They asked for like translation. They required a translation more than needed. And if we were
in Italy,
if we had been in Italy at that time, we couldn't have done that. Another advice is wait in Canada or in the country where you are when you apply for something like immigration related. It's always better to stay on the place.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because when they ask you, when you have an application in progress and they ask for more documents, you have a deadline. Like, we need these documents before 2 weeks, and if you don't send us this document, your application will be cancelled. That's the deal. So if they ask you something, just send it right away. Don't wait, because they're ruthless. They cannot waste time. They have too many applicants, and that's it. So
for sure,
we got the positive answer.
We just got the approval for the PMP. That meant that we just got accepted into the PMP program. So we had to wait all that time just to get accepted into the program.
Just to know if we could apply to the actual PMP.
Yeah, so then after that, we finally applied to the PMP program. That is the real program to apply for the permanent residency. So before it was just, we're just checking you if you're right, if it's everything good.
The good thing about having the approval for the PMP is that with the approval, we were able to get
work permit.
Another work permit extended for 2 years. So it was a temporary still, but at least for 2 years. And mine was a closed work permit bounded to my employer. Sabrina had an open work permit, so she was able to work for anybody.
Because I got mine as a spouse of the first applicant.
Yeah.
So if you are a couple, just be sure to have all the documents to prove that you're an actual couple. If you're not married, of course. A way to prove it is to share an apartment and to have like a contract, a rental contract signed with both names, or having a joint bank account.
Yeah.
These are 2 things to prove that you are together.
For more than 1 year.
For more than 1 year, of course. Like if you're together for less, no.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
But
Common law. No, doesn't work like that. But
so we got the work permit thanks to the PMP.
Yeah.
And so while they were processing our application for the PMP, we could stay in Canada with the work permit. So it was all still progress.
Yeah, it was and the actual PMP application that we sent after getting the new work permit, that actually to get the new work permit we did the flagpole, that it's when you cross the border and you turn immediately back and you go back in the country, so you actually physically leave the country and go back.
Because to get the work permit you have to leave the country and re-enter.
Yeah, so that was pretty scary, but it was pretty cool actually. But so the overall process of the PMP, also the one, even if you have the approval, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be positive, because you can apply now. You have the approval, you can apply. Here's the new work permit, but the actual PMP application can be totally rejected. So we were still in the process of knowing if we could actually stay, and that was it's been a roller coaster of emotions since the first day we landed.
And that was another long process.
It took a year.
Because it took 1 year and a half.
1 year and a half.
That was super long, yeah.
We got our permanent residency in July.
Last July.
2015. So.
And we applied
in June 2014.
Yeah, so it took 1 year.
It took 1 year.
But I'm counting also like the months before.
Yeah.
When we sent the first application.
When we got the approval for the permanent residency, it took 4 months to get the actual PR card and to change our work permit, because after you become permanent resident, you have to remove your work permit because you don't need it anymore. You have to go again at the border, and they have to put something inside your passport.
Of paper.
So the process was still going, but at least we had.
No, once you have the confirmation of permanent residency, it's fine. Like you are a permanent resident. The problem is that you have to wait for the card. Yeah. So it's better if you don't leave the country meanwhile.
Oh, no, definitely.
Because you need your permanent residency card.
Yeah. And also during the overall process of waiting for the PMP to tell us yes or no, there are different steps, there are different stages. So every time you pass to another stage, they ask you more documents.
It seems like a game.
They ask you more payments, and that's something that
a lot of
it's
payments.
Really important if you decide to apply for the permanent residency. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like we spent an average of $5,000 each.
I mean, it's
since the beginning.
I know it's a lot of money, but compared to other countries, it's not so much. In other countries, I know they ask much more.
Yeah.
But just be sure to have some savings to use just to apply, because you never know also when they're gonna ask you for other documents or for translations, especially if you come from a country where English is not the first language, so you're gonna have all your documents in another language and you have to translate them all from a certified translator, and that's very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It's like stupidly expensive because
just to translate 3 words,
like 3-4 words, like super stupid words.
So good. Well, so that's pretty much it. I think like this overall process changed a lot.
Yeah, I recommend you to always look at the CIC website. That is the immigration,
That is on, yeah.
Canadian immigration
And
website.
the website is cic.gc.ca. You can find the link in the description below the video, of course.
Always check that and read very carefully every single page. Like I did like that. So every time they ask me how I moved to Canada, how I found all the programs, it's not like that I had some magical power. I just
you do.
I just read all the CIC website. I read all the programs available and what was suitable for us, and especially for Alex's position. And so yeah, just be careful, read everything. I don't think that you need an immigration lawyer or a consultant. Like a lot of times they ask me if I use someone. I just like did everything by myself because I wanted to be sure about everything, and so I think the best thing is to do it by yourself, because the lawyers are very expensive. Like they take, I don't know, $4,000 to fill an application that you can totally fill by yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it's a waste of money, but that depends by you for sure.
Yeah.
And so save money, be prepared to wait long time, because it's it's a government thing, it's bureaucracy, and so the process time is very long. And be prepared before leaving your country. Be prepared, like know what you want to do.
Yeah. And also on the other side, like be prepared with a plan B. We had a plan B. If this wasn't going to be, we were prepared to go back to Italy and do something else.
Yeah, like nothing is sure. Nobody can assure you that you're going to succeed 100%.
Yeah.
So always be prepared, to do something else. And
hey, but it went pretty great.
Yeah,
right?
actually, it was pretty stressful and long, and we had a lot of problems because, of course, we had problems with documents and translations and whatever. But at the end, I have to say it went pretty straight. Like
smoothly.
It happened what we wanted to happen. So our plan before leaving Italy was to get the PMP, permanent residency, and so we got there. So great.
So good.
Good.
They didn't kick us out from the country.
And I admit that we are a team, so we work together, me and Alex.
Not really. I just complain.
But I was the one that was working on all the documents for the government. But he was the one that was actually working, like at the beginning, of course. Then I found the job too. But we kind of knew that like his job was the one that was going to let us stay in Canada.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with that. Like I was the first one to say, Alex, you have to go to Canada. It's like the perfect country for you because they're looking for web developers. And in Vancouver, they have actually a shortage of web developers.
Yeah.
So that's a great place if you work in IT or in web development.
Yeah. Would you do that again all over?
Oh my God. I mean, probably, but like if I have to think about the first months here in Vancouver, my God, terrible.
Yeah,
they were
tough.
Tough, stressful, frustrating. And just because our English wasn't so good, as he said. And so it wasn't good to talk with people. Like now I feel very confident, Alex too, and so we don't have any problems to go around in the city, talk with everyone, and we have both great jobs, beautiful house, like it's all perfect now. Like I mean, pretty much.
Perfect.
But the first 6 months, also all the first year, we can say.
And
it was pretty tough.
And overall, we came from a situation in Italy where we were both low income, no money, no
Oh, yeah.
opportunities, and we worked hard. We read, actually, mostly Sabrina. She read everything. She did a lot of research, and she never gave anything for granted. So that's something that a lot of time, especially from Italians, I don't know why, I get this, like, oh, I got the working holiday visa, I came to Canada, but I didn't know what to do, so 6 months has passed and I'm back in Italy, and now I don't know how to go back. If you decide to change your life, you have to freaking do it properly. You have to study, you have to learn, you have to document yourself, you have to be prepared to everything, to like the worst case scenario. You cannot say just, okay, let's just move there and let's see what's gonna happen.
Definitely, that's the worst thing. Like, if you get the working holiday visa, that it's once in a lifetime, you can't waste it. Absolutely. Or maybe, yeah, you come to Canada, but you don't want to stay. Okay, totally fine. But if you plan to stay, you really work through it, because it's your only chance. I mean, and
Definitely.
yeah, and never give up.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
just work on
You can
everything
totally
you
do
get.
it.
No, like, work on everything you get.
Yeah.
And just don't be scared and do what you have to do. Don't wait for other people to tell you what to do. It's like the worst thing when I get these questions on like Facebook or whatever, of people asking me what they have to do, or like, how you move to Canada, I don't know what to do. I'm always like, okay, that's the CIC website, read that. Like, it's written there. I can't.
It's not a secret. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
like,
something private that we did and we don't want to share.
really,
It's like,
yeah, it's not that I don't want to share how I made it through. It's I can tell you how I did everything, but
we just did it.
you have to do that by yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you move to another country, if you move abroad and you want to stay in that country, the first thing you have to say to yourself is, okay, I'm going to do that for myself, by myself. Don't wait for other people to tell you the answer. Like, just work.
She's tough, right?
No,
She's
it's
freaking
pretty.
tough.
I
Yeah.
get a bit upset when
Yeah,
I get
no, I mean,
with these questions,
Yeah.
because it seems a bit sloppy.
Ooh.
Like, if you have
Okay.
if you
Okay.
have this if you have this
I
mindset,
just lost 1,000 subscribers. Thank you.
if you have this
It was
mindset,
great having you here.
don't go abroad.
Yeah,
Stay
no,
home.
definitely. Well, I think this wraps our entire episode. It was pretty great. We gave you all the information that we had, all the steps. We listed all the steps that we did. Of course, we left out all these super technical things that, as we said multiple times, they change year by year, so they don't even apply anymore. They're not useful anymore for these, like the current PMP application or the current other opportunities. We didn't check anymore, but as usual, check the cic.gc.ca website to learn all the different ways. If you want to come here, be friends and hang out with us, it's gonna be awesome. But anyway, thank you so much, Sabrina, for your time. And
You're welcome.
for your
I
thorough
I
explanation.
hope I wasn't too tough.
No, she's super sweet. She's super nice. And people of the internet, where they can find you, Sabrina?
Myself? Okay, I'm pretty
No,
much
not yourself. Another
I'm pretty
one. Another
much
Sabrina.
everywhere. So
Holy
if you
shit.
just look online for Sabrina Miso, Miso, and I
Yeah.
currently
A virus is gonna
MISO.
get installed on your computer. And
I use a lot Instagram and
course.
my Facebook page, and recently my YouTube channel.
Ooh.
So if you wanna watch some videos,
Yeah.
and
If you want to learn more about Vancouver, or if you want to see Vancouver with the eyes of a foreigner or with the eyes of a lady that dreams about flowers and dogs, you can just check Sabrina Miso YouTube channel to see a bunch of silly videos and really emotional and cute videos. That's fine. That's really great. You should check
cute.
that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super cute. Absolutely. She's learning how to make videos, and she does everything by herself. So it's pretty great.
Of course.
Of course. With me, as usual, you can find me everywhere as well. I'm on Twitter at Alecad and Facebook page, on my YouTube channel. If you're listening to this podcast, probably you already know me. But if it's the first time and you stumble on this podcast because you were looking for information about moving to Canada, hello, my name is Alex, and you have to subscribe. Absolutely. You can't.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Yay.
I need your help. Anyway, that was pretty great. Thank you so much, guys, for checking this podcast, and subscribe to my channel, subscribe to SoundCloud if you want to keep track of the next podcast, the next episode. In the next episode, I'm gonna release a lot of nice information to open the podcast to guests.
Wow.
And the guests can be you. I don't want to interview famous people because I don't have any connection with famous people. I want to interview you guys to learn your story, to learn your experience, and have a nice nerdy talk all together. Sounds good, right?
Yes.
Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, guys. And as usual, I would say happy coding, but this is the Nerd Continuity podcast, so happy nerding.